Einstein said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge, you see, is limited. Imagination encircles the world." We're talking about the creative force of the imagination. Now, this is Mike, or Personal Growth Now, welcoming us to another fantastic video and special edition of the Down to Earth, the podcast. Thank you for tuning into this video. We're talking about the creative force of the imagination. Now, I love that quote by Einstein, but there's another quote by Einstein that reads, "Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere." It's true. Imagination can take you and will take you anywhere and everywhere that you so choose. It's up to us to understand the creative force of the imagination, and that's why we are diving into it in this video. The three topics that we're discussing: number one, why is this so important? Number two, the three key aspects of using your imagination, because we have to know how to exactly intentionally create or manifest. And number three, repetition, repetition, repetition. Repetition is truly the mother of all learning. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this. We're intentionally choosing to now tune our minds to the frequency of this podcast, as you might pick something up that might be a little more clear to you through these explanations. All right, so the creative force of the imagination. I love this topic. Number one, we're discussing, why is this so important? So why is the imagination? Why are we talking about this? Why is this so important? Well, see, the way I see it is that the imagination is often overlooked. But in reality, the imagination creates all, seen and unseen. Actually, if you go look in the Bible and in Scripture, in Hebrews 11, it actually talks about the creative force of what spawned consciousness, and it talks about the imaginative factor that we possess as human beings and as spiritual beings. It actually states in Hebrews that everything that you see was actually first spawned and created from what was unseen. So if you don't believe me, go ahead and check that one out in Hebrews 11. You see, everything that was made visible was first spawned from the invisible. So what are we really talking about here? We are actually talking about the factor that we possess. This is why we're co-creators with the universe. We have to keep getting this knowledge out there because we don't realize how powerful we are. The truth of the matter is that the imagination will and can take us anywhere we want to go. Most people, now I want us to get this, most people, if you think about it, most people imagine what they don't want. Thus, they experience more of it. Think about that. Most people imagine what they don't want. We're all guilty of it, but that is an unconscious behavior that we are now bringing to the surface, that we're now bringing to the light. It's definitely a practice, guys. You must catch yourself. We must become more and more and more aware, more and more and more consciously aware whenever we are imagining what it is that we don't want. Because whatever we imagine in our mind's eye with the use of the creative imagination, we are actually perpetuating the same out into the future. And really, we are creating more of it in our present life. So if you are imagining all the bad in your life, you are going to undoubtedly, by law of the perfect law, what is law? Law is love, and love is law. And whatever we love, we create more of. So you want to catch yourself if you keep on tuning into the bad. I know we're all guilty of it, but just continue watching these videos, and as we continue forth, we will begin taking hold back of our power of the creative force of the imagination and really get to see the truth and the essence that we really do create our own world. It's what we imagine we are going to undoubtedly experience more of. So catch yourself next time you are down spiraling into a negative imagined reality and switch the thought. We actually have a couple resources that we are going to share later in this podcast in order for us to all help progress towards that. Here's another quote. It says and reads, "Live out of your imagination, not your history." Stephen Covey. You see, I learned that the real key is becoming more and more aware and becoming more conscious of these truths so that we can actually apply them regularly and on a consistent basis. Van Gogh, do not quench your inspiration and your imagination. Do not become the slave of your model. Wow. What is your model? See, Van Gogh was trying to tell us here, do not quench your imagination. Do not misunderstand. Do not become ignorant of the fact that we really do manifest whatever we want to experience by use of this tool, by use of this imagination. What is your model? Is it of the past? Is it of your history? Your history does not matter. God forgives you. Love is law, and law is love. Whatever we love, we create more of, and that returns back to us. So what are you loving? Are you secretly loving your problems? If you are, you must intentionally and consciously start plugging into the new frequency, plugging into the new vibration. That's what we always talk about on this channel. If your model is arguably like the majority of people, which is imagining catastrophic events and negative circumstances in your mind's eye or in your imagination in the form of images, we must become consciously aware, and we must stop that negative momentum, plug up to the new frequency, and make it of a positive one. And again, shortly here, we are going to actually teach us how exactly we can do this on the application level. We're moving on to the second topic, which is the 3 key aspects of using your imagination. Number 1 key aspect of using your imagination is understanding that whatever you can imagine, you, by law, will experience if you hold consistent to that frequency. Number 2 key aspect here is that we think in pictures. Thus, our duty is to visualize what we do want, as opposed to what we do not want. We must literally see ourselves walking out our desired realities in our mind's eye and hold that consistently. Whatever you wish to experience, you must hold on the screen of your mind, on the screen of your imagination, on a regular, consistent, and habitual basis. That is how you manifest whatever life you want to experience. Going back to number 2 really quick. We truly do think in pictures, though, because think about that. That is an absolute fact. Whenever I spell out the word DOG, do you see the image that just popped up on the screen of your mind? Let's do this again. BIRD. Let's try this one. TREE. Now this is a fun one as well. YOU. You see, this is the principle. This is why we actually become what we think about most. Because we think in these images, and as we think, we actually travel. And as Bob Proctor often tells us, the frequency you wish to experience in the form of these images is actually a place. There is a place. The question is, what is your there? What does that look like to you? Now, the third key aspect of using your imagination, number 3 here, is that everything is vibration. Everything is frequency. And frequency is vibration. And whatever we vibe with attracts to us similar vibes. Now, I really want us to get that. Whatever we vibrate in harmony with, or whatever we vibe with, that actually attracts to us back similar vibes. Vibe negatively, attract more negative energy back to you. It's an absolute law. Whatever we love, we create more of, positive or negative. If we vibe positively, we attract more positive energy back to us. You see, whatever frequency or vibration we plug into the most, we experience more of. The question is, what are you intentionally tuning into? Now, here's the applicable step. Here is the suggestion. So we're very much tuning ourselves into this podcast right now. So this is very important. This is a star moment of this podcast. I want us all to really hone in on this. All right, so if you want money, tune into money in the form of video or images on the computer. You can type in on Google images of money. Just surround yourselves with the essence of what it is that you wish to experience. And on the screen of your mind, you're literally imagining living in the frame of those images and videos. You're the one now experiencing whatever you're tuning into. See how beautiful that is? So you're the one now experiencing what it was like for those other people to experience those moments. So you are tuning into the frequency that you're wishing to experience the most of. Do you remember the law? Law is love, and love is law. Whatever we love, we create more of. So the applicable step is to continue walking out on the screen of your imagination, and you can use images to help you. One website I use is actually Unsplash. You get on unsplash.com and you type in whatever you wish to experience. If you're wanting to manifest more money, you type in money and you start surrounding yourself with those images. You can also use music while you're doing this, and it definitely works. But you will know that you are traveling to this frequency based on the feeling. That's how I always say, is that you'll know it based on the feeling. You will start vibrating, believe it or not, the exact same way that those images are. Find a good song, turn it on, and listen to the music while you scroll through all the images. Make this a daily practice. If you're really serious about manifesting, there's your opportunity. And I want to reiterate and restate that this could go for your money, your business, your bank account. This could be having to do with manifesting a certain relationship or a certain lover or a partner of some sorts. You can use this for any and all areas of your life. Definitely don't forget the music aspect, because that definitely tunes you in more effectively. Thank you for following this podcast. If you have listened this far, I know how serious you are about manifesting the reality of your dreams. And truly, we are doing this together. Moving on to the third and final topic of the creative force of the imagination. Number 3, repetition, repetition, repetition. Repetition is the mother of all learning. You want to repeat it. You want to make this a habitual cycle. As a matter of fact, if there was other things that you did not quite understand, I would suggest going back and rewatching this podcast a few times. It is through the repetition that our beliefs solidify into reality. It is through the repetition that our beliefs begin translating our desires into physical results. It is through repetition that whatever we imagine habitually on the screen of our imagination crystallizes and begins to harden into fact. In short, continually plug into the frequency of what you wish and desire to have, do, and be. You're not only on your way to living the life of your dreams, but now you have been given tools to measure all of your successes. Ending this off with Bob Proctor, there is a place. Don't let it fade.